What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and today we finally are going to get around to reviewing Age of Mythology Retold. It's been about a month, and I think it's time to get honest and tell you exactly what I think. What I love, what I don't love, and everything in between. Now, to be completely honest, I'm incredibly biased when it comes to Age of Mythology. I love the game, I love the concept, I love the community, and most of all, I love the mythology. So if you're here for a fair take, you're probably in the wrong place, but after amassing around 200 hours now, completing the original campaign and watching a lot of competitive games, I think I'm somewhat qualified to say a thing or two on whether or not this game is good or not. So let's start with the easy stuff. The graphics are absolutely stunning. I've heard some complaints about cartoony graphics, but I honestly have no idea where people are coming with that. The graphics stay incredibly true to the original art style, while also pushing that to the nth degree. The visual effects on all the big moments in the game are amazing, from the meteor completely destroying everything to the new god power available with the Freyr DLC, Inferno, looking like an absolute explosive ball of goodness, or should I say wolf of goodness. It just looks absolutely amazing to me. After around 200 hours of gameplay, all the units are pretty much distinguishable from each other. I don't really have any problems with telling units apart, so any sort of comments about things looking like they blend too much together, I don't understand that. I mean, I can see everything fairly well now, so maybe it just takes time to get used to the kind of art style. And yeah, but I mean, the hard part about graphics is it's all subjective, and what I like may not be what you like. There is some sort of give and take with that, or some sort of you got to have your own kind of opinions really where that comes to the table. But when it comes down to it, if you compare this for the old game to the new game, it's clear that Retold has had a significant glow up. And I, for one, am really enjoying that. Moving on to the campaign, a lot of new RTS fans ask me, I'm new to AOM. What should I do first? Should I jump into ranks? Should I go play some lobbies? Should I play against the AI? What should I do? I say, start with the campaign. It's so much fun. I mean, of course I'm biased, but I've played through the original campaign countless times now, and I honestly never get bored of journeying around the ancient world, killing Gargarantis and his crew of miscreants. From using a ridiculously overpowered guardian to kill a gigantic Egyptian army, to unleashing a literal god, this campaign has it all for me. I will say, Retold did get hit with a little hitch in the road that I was pretty disappointed with in the beta. For whatever reason, they redid all the voice dialogues, and it really was not good. But on release, they brought back the original voice actor who played Arcantos, and it seems like they went back over the majority of the content with a fine-tooth comb to bring the quality back up to the original. Now, you can't really beat the nostalgia of the original, but I think they did an admirable job with what is otherwise an impossible task. At any rate, the difficulty level of Retold's campaign was, for the most part, a really big upswing. I definitely sweated a few times throughout, which was something I did not expect at all. Normally, developers of RTS games are generally pretty low-level gamers and simply struggle with making something truly difficult for a top 1% RTS gamer, but they knocked this out of the park in terms of difficulty with a couple of very nice concepts, from raids, from like giants or whatever you want to call them doing, landing on your shore, hitting you on the sides, all of that good stuff, to simply just huge armies clashing on your doorstep. It was a lot of fun for me, and there are 5 different difficulty levels to try out. So if the crazy difficulty of RTS isn't your speed, you can go through story, which is basically child's play, to like Titan hard, whatever you really feel like going through, and you can have a decent amount of challenge and also be able to complete it. So there's not really any need to try out how hard this campaign can get, but if you want to give it a try and push yourself, then it's definitely worth. Now to the nitty gritty. What I love about Myth the most is the competitive game. I love creating strategy. I love executing said strategy. I love beating my opponent and getting those endorphins for that win. For the first month of play, this is kind of everything that I would have hoped and more. To understand why I'm enjoying Retold so much. We should probably go over where Titans competitive was at and how that's different to Retold. So the Titans was a game which was basically untouched by developers for quite some time, left in a state that could hardly be argued was balanced. There were a few gods that were just simply better than everything else. The elite community of the Titans banded together to create a fan patch which aimed to fix some of the glaring imbalances, but they had a core mantra at their decision-making process, and that was no drastic changes, keep the game as the developers intended it to be, and what this kind of resulted in, for better or for worse, was a pretty big neutering of the power certain things had. Zeus lost his almost unkillable Bellerophon, Egyptians mercenary were nerfed into the ground, Uranus got smacked several times, bringing back to the level of all the other civilizations. Now, I'm not saying that this was a bad idea or a bad approach by any stretch, and it makes perfect sense that they would go this way. Reason being is that creating a patch is easy, but getting players to actually play said patch is very challenging. It did, however, create a kind of RTS game at the top level, which was geared to more of the defensive side of play, which is very, very hard to crack. Like, you could come up with some kind of cheesy strategies and they'd work for a little bit, then they'd get solved, and then we get back to this kind of defensive play for the late game sort of idea. So why is this relevant? Well, Retold is a completely different kettle of fish. It seems like aggression is at the foremost of the meta at the moment, and it is incredibly refreshing to me to play Age of Mythology like this. I love the chaos it creates. I love the split-second decision-making you have to make throughout the game to get an advantage, rather than that slow, grindy game that was present in the Titans. I also actually think that while this game is not perfectly balanced at the moment, I think it's an incredibly amazing state, given the complete 180 that has been done on the balance. The developers could have taken the easy road, based their balance off of the years of gameplay that was before them in the Titans, but decided to go big, bold, and it is only going to improve as they've already released 2 balance patches with another one already on the way. So while today I might complain about Isis, tomorrow I might get to complain about Gaia. And I'm all for the challenge of trying to rethink the game and get an edge over something like this. With a new balance patch comes changes, and you have to kind of rethink about strategy. They can add things in, they can take things back out. And this is one of those things that I know is different for everyone. Everyone's going to have their own opinions on balance and whatnot. So for those who have played some competitive games so far, I want to know from you guys, what do you guys think about the balance? Is it fun? Is it not fun? I'm curious. Leave a comment below. Would you prefer a more kind of slow take or maybe like a more defensive approach to your RTS games? I'm super interested. Let me know in the comment section below. Okay, so it can't be a fair review if I don't tell you about some of the negatives, as with any new game, it can't be all amazing, right? So, out of syncs. What is an out of sync? Well, basically it is where you've got 2 machines playing a game or more, and one of those machines is disagreeing with the state of the game that the other machine is saying it's in, and then the game will say, guys, you guys aren't agreeing, we have to stop the game and restart. Now, these can't be really helped, but they are annoying, and for whatever reason, you know, computers, they work the way they do. You can kind of fix things along the way and try and reduce out of syncs, but it just seems that they're going to be a part of a game that's built in an engine like this. And I mean, while these are getting better, we saw a lot of big fixes in the recent patch that was put out, but one thing that makes no sense to me is recorded games going out of sync. There's not 2 computers watching a recorded game or executing the actions that come through. For those of you who don't know how recorded games work, basically, when you play a game, the game actually records every single input you put in, and then it also records every single input your opponent puts in, and then it plays that back when you're watching the recorded game. So you're actually literally watching the game live yet again. So the fact that recorded games are going out of sync, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. I've been told that it's been improved on in the latest patch, but I need to jump in and have another go. The big problem with this for me is that this is a big place where I make content. It doesn't really matter for a lot of different players. I mean, if you're trying to get much better at the game, you can't watch your recorded games back, that is going to hurt. But Yeah, for me, I use recorded games mostly to cast, and the only way to cast right now is to jump into a live game and cast it, or maybe it's different now, I don't know. But this is somewhat of an issue for me personally. Hopefully it just gets better over time and we can get back into watching those recorded games and getting some really, really great content out for you guys. Nonetheless, let's continue along. The actual content that has been delivered with this game is, suffice to say, it's a little bit on the light side. You get a campaign. You get 3 campaigns, actually. One that is very, very heavily loaded with content. The Golden Gift is pretty slight. It's only 4 missions. You get the Atlantis campaign, which I am now playing through, as well as a Mythics battle with the DLC for Freyr. That is all the single player content. You also get your skirmish as well, and then you can jump into multiplayer. So there's really not a whole lot there for Retold at the moment. You could probably play through, my guess is 30 to 50 hours before you finish all that single player content. And then you have to jump into ranked. Now, there was a game mode called Arena of the Gods, which was announced with the release of Retold, but it was scrapped, and I'm expecting it to come, but we haven't heard a peep about this. So hopefully this comes. Hopefully this is the big boost to the single player content that Age of Mythology Retold kind of needs. And it's going to give a whole bunch of replayability for the single player audience, and also maybe even some sort of like approach to single player content that might be able to help players get into multiplayer. And really that's where the unlimited hours come from, is we're playing with friends, playing ranked, playing custom scenarios, all the other good stuff there. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping this one did not just get put in the bin, and it's going to be a lot of fun. That's what I'm hoping for. Anyways, we'll have to wait and see. The game lobby browser is a bit of a mess. I don't understand. For whatever reason, I can't use the search bar to search for players in ranked games. This is basically my big gripe with it at the moment. Seems to me there are 2 reasons to use a search bar: find friends lobby, or find certain players playing ranked games. You can find your friend, but not your idol. It makes me sad. I hope this gets fixed soon. I hope you can sort of search for them. The ranked lobby, or the lobby browser, did get improved in terms of finding ranked games recently. You can actually see the names of the players right now playing, so you don't have to like search through every single different game to see who's playing. You can just kind of look at the players there, and you can find whichever player is good. The next step is to obviously give some sort of a search feature for this, so you can find everyone quite quickly. Another nice quality of life feature on the game browser that I think will be really, really important, especially for the average gamer, is being able to view the ELO, or view by ELO, filter by ELO. So the higher rated players at the top of the board, leaderboard there, or the rank lobby there, would be really, really cool. So hopefully that can get added in at some point. But you know, at the moment it's not so bad. I mean, it's a bit of a mess, but it's not so bad. Nonetheless, guys, I think Retold is amazing. I'm having a blast playing it, watching it, and being a part of it. If you haven't picked it up yet, do yourself a favor and give it a go. You can play it on the I can't remember what it's called, the Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass. So it's definitely worth giving it a go. It's an amazing game, and there is so much fun to be had playing with it. I'm way too biased to give it a score out of 10. I'd probably give it an 11 if I had to. And I'm really, really grateful for Retold being made in the way that it has. And while developers get a lot of criticism from time to time from their audience, I think it's important to recognize when they do a great job. And with Retold, I think they deserve all the praise they're getting in the world, and giving Retold the treatment that it deserves. It's a beautiful game. Mythology is a beautiful game. And yeah, I'm super, super happy to be playing with it at the moment. And I hope that I'm going to be able to play it for years to come. Anyways, guys, my name is Boit. I love Retold. If you've got any comments here, any sort of extra opinions on something I didn't touch on, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.